All right. Hey, folks. So today we're going to speak about Alex Eubank hopping on steroids. But as usual with this channel, I'm not just reporting on drama. I actually want to speak about some potential negatives which even he might not have thought about so that it's applicable to you. You, the audience, who is sat there thinking, okay, maybe this is something that I would consider. Or maybe you're thinking to yourself, yeah, it's wrong, but you haven't fully thought about the extent of why it's wrong. The two reasons I'm going to present today for why it's wrong, I don't even think Alex has thought about, because they essentially negate his argument for going on. I think it's a bad idea. Ultimately, I think he's going to go back to being natty. I'm just calling it. And I want to explain why. But before we get into that, can you like the video, drop a comment for the algorithm, and subscribe if you haven't done so already? Now, let's get on. My first point is this. Alex, you said that being 10% year-round natty just feels terrible. You feel lethargic. You have no sexual appetite, no libido. And you've been told that if you're on testosterone, you're going to feel great. You're going to feel horny. You're going to feel full of energy and vigor all year round. You're being lied to, son. Everybody knows there is a honeymoon period where you get all these feelings. Yes, for a little while, you'll feel great. You'll have the libido increase, the energy increase. Great. Like with any drug, your body will form a resistance to it. You're not going to have those feelings forever. It's not the way it works. The prime reason you have for going on is a lie. You'll get those feelings for like 6 months. Sure, cool. And you'll be sold. You'll be like, this is great. I'm 10%. I'm lean. I feel happy. I feel horny. Fantastic. It goes away. And then what happens? Well, let me talk to you. Then what happens is you're going to chase that feeling. So you're either going to up the dose or you're going to try and chase it in other ways. Like some of your YouTube friends, perhaps you'll start gambling. Perhaps you'll start being addicted to porn or whatever else. You're going to chase that feeling. But what most of the guys do is they just increase their dose. So you're starting down a path and you don't understand where it's leading you. It's leading you right back to where you are now. The problem is not your hormone levels. The problem is you're trying to stay too lean year round. You think that's what you need to do for your job. I don't think it is. I think at this stage where you have something like 1.5 million subscribers, you're doing great, by the way. Why not pivot into something else? Why not pivot into something which doesn't relate to your body? Why not try to offer people more value in a different way? Why not try to be an educator? Why not try to do something good rather than just insist that you have to be on screen looking good? I'm sure there's more to you than that, Alex. Speak about things. Do things outside of your comfort zone. You are going down a path which you think is going to be the solution to you being able to be 10% year round and feel happy. It will wear off. So the first reason you have for giving in your natty card is not a valid reason. It will wear off. Come back to me in 6 months and tell me it has. Second reason, you're still not going to be happy with your physique. You're not going to be happy with your physique because your main issue right now is not your hormone levels. The main issue right now is you're too small. You need to bulk. You need to get bigger. That's not an issue with your hormones at all. That issue is with your lack of willingness to feel uncomfortable bulking up. Like, look, I get it. I'm somewhat bulked now. I don't like it. My face feels fat. And you have a lot more water retention, all that kind of stuff. Now, when you're bulking on PEDs, you're going to have even more water retention. So all those things you don't like, Alex, the facial fat, the puffiness, that's going to be amplified on the steroids you're taking. So in the end, you're still not going to be happy with your physique. So what are you thinking about doing, Alex? You're thinking about taking some hormones. You'll gain some weight, maybe 5 pounds, 10 pounds of muscle. You will gain something just due to higher hormone levels. But at a certain point, that stops. It's more of a psychological issue in your case. The water retention, not wanting to feel fat, that is preventing you from getting bigger. And it will only be amplified when you're on steroids. And I want to say the other thing is increasing steroids generally come with increased appetite. So by adding in your 200 milligrams of test, which is what you said you were going to do in your video, you will gain some muscle. You'll gain some water, some glycogen, some muscle. Sure, it happens. There is a dose response curve to injectable testosterone. So you'll gain something. Now, at a certain point, that will peter out. You're not just going to carry on gaining. So just like the psychological effects, you will reach a homeostasis. Once you've achieved that initial burst of size, which is just down to the hormones, you've only got one choice. You're going to have to bulk. which circles back to point one, which is you don't want to bulk because you feel uncomfortable, feeling fatter, holding more water. All of the things which are amplified by your steroids. Do you see what I'm saying? Both of the main reasons you gave for hopping on, they're not valid. Now, you might shoot back to me and say, your coach is going to have you doing it lean. So you're going to bulk up and stay lean. Bro, that is the worst way to do it. You look at all the old school guys, your Jay Cutler, your Ronnie Coleman, Dorian Yates, doing pretty well in life. You know, they're older, they're happy. Even going back to Arnold, older, happy. Those guys took fairly traditional things. Now, the new school way of doing things, which is what I assume your coach is going to have you doing, well, that hasn't worked so well for modern bodybuilders, has it? So history tells us your new way of doing things, if that is what your coach is going to have you doing, is probably not the healthiest. Now, ultimately, none of it's healthy, but bottom line is the 70s bodybuilders were relatively healthier than some of the current crop of guys. And the current crop of guys stay lean year round, which is what you're aiming to do, isn't it? What does that tell you? It's not going to be healthy. Your coach, who you put your trust in, is telling you he can make you bigger and stay lean with half the gear and staying healthy. He's selling you a dream. Ultimately, hopping on, you're still going to feel terrible. You're going to have a honeymoon period, which you'll feel slightly better for a while. But in the end, you're going to go back to feeling like you feel like now. And that's because your body fat's too low year round. And secondly, you're still not going to be happy with your physique either, because ultimately your problem is not one of hormones. It's a problem of an unwillingness to bulk, which is only going to be magnified by the steroids you are currently on. Ultimately, Alex, I think you're going to go back to being natty, which I think is the correct decision for you. The two reasons you've given in your video for going on are not valid reasons in the face of what I've just said. So, son, you're making a wrong choice. It's not just wrong because you're throwing in your natty card. Your reasons literally make no sense, as I've just explained. Right, guys. So just to close this video, let's just speak as a broader sense about you guys, okay? I think most people who hop on are not looking to be massive Jay Cutler sized people. I think most people who hop on are doing it for reasons like Alex. They want to be lean. They want to be lean. They want to be shredded. They want to be probably just a bit more muscular than the average person. But in general, they want to be lean. They don't want to be huge. But like I've just explained, the reasons to hop on, they're not valid. If you're not a good bulker now, you're not going to be a good bulker when you're on. If you have a psychological aversion to bulking now, you will have a worse psychological aversion to bulking when you're on. If you don't feel good now because your body fat's too low, you're not going to feel good when you're on once the honeymoon period is over. So I completely respect all the content producers who've created videos for why Alex shouldn't be hopping on. I don't think anyone's actually addressed this on a granular level like I have just now. Your reasons just simply don't make any sense. They're not going to work out in practice. You're being sold a dream. Ultimately, I think you'll revert back to being natty. I hope. But yeah, look, son, you're making a wrong choice. Your reasons literally make no sense. Right, guys, I'm going to call it there, and I will speak to you all in the next one. Peace out.